Hey, good morning. It is Wednesday, February 20th, 2K13. I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best. Good morning, and thank you for being with us.
This is WGTV Today, Wayne Goldsboro Television. We thank you for being with us. Kim, who's on today's program?
Yes, today we have Jimmie Edmundson on the show. He is here representing Military Affairs Committee, and he's telling us what they're doing in our community and how they are continuing to build that relationship and work with our Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. We also have Sherry Archibald, who is on representing the Paramount, and she's telling us all the exciting things happening through the month of March.
Wow, we have two great, this is great. These two folks are bringing us some great information here. The Paramount Theater, that Sherry goes into a lot of detail about a lot of the programs coming up.
She does, and you know, they've got every single weekend booked through February and March, and there's a variety of things being offered at the Paramount Theater. And stay tuned, because you're going to want to hear some of the exciting things that are happening. Yeah,
and you're also going to want to hear what Jimmie Edmundson has to say about the Military Affairs Committee. You know, here in Eastern North Carolina, we are such a military community. We love Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. But Jimmie also talks about in the Military Affairs Committee about many things connected to the military, not only for the Air Force Base, but also the other military bases around the area as well. Particularly, in fact, he'll discuss, as I recall, the Dare Range as well down east. And some of the concerns that we have. Major concerns we're having with some of the things going on in Washington regarding the base and the Dare Range and the other bases around the community.
That's right.
The state. Well, Discover Tech. Discover Tech, Engineers Make a World of Difference, is the title of a program being offered by the Wayne County Public Library. It's a traveling exhibition for libraries. It's part of the STAR Library Education Network, StarNet, and it's led by the Space Science Institute's National Center for Interactive Learning. Exhibit partners include the Lunar and Planetary Institute, the National Girls Collaborative Project, and the American Library Association. Discover Tech is supported through a grant from the National Science Foundation, and it's coming to our library.
That's great.
March 9th. It is great. The exhibition features a number of hands-on activities that will engage people of all ages, and these include a 3-person quiz game that allows participants to explore the engineering process while correcting misconceptions about what engineers really do. They're not just working on trains. No, they're building things. Engineers, we're talking.
Is there a cost associated with this?
There is no cost. It is absolutely free. There's so many things involved. They talk about electrical circuits. They talk about solar energy. They talk about they're going to have game changers. Engineering problems will be discussed. This is a tremendous amount of fun, and it's for folks of all ages. The patrons can also view several inspirational videos showing members of Engineers Without Borders using their skills to profoundly improve the quality of life for communities in Central America, in South America, in Africa, and in Asia. Again, this is March 9th. All right, March 9th at the Wayne County Public Library. Oh, boy.
Well, Wayne, one of the things that you and I will be doing together is a show coming up at the Paramount Theater. This is called Ballroom Barks, or Animals in Wonderland.
Oh, yeah.
Heard about that?
I've heard about that.
Well, that is taking place on March 30th at the Paramount Theater. And what this is it is actually a fundraiser for the Humane Society right here in our community. And it's going to be a little bit of a take on Alice in Wonderland that Dr. Chip Zwirling has changed about just a bit. It'll be a production that will take place March 30th at the Paramount, and it's going to be full of local people trying to participate and doing great things and raising money for the Humane Society. Ballroom Barks and Animals in Wonderland is all one big production, and we are excited to see who all will be taking place. I know this one over here is going to be the Joker. Yes.
That was a secret.
And I'm going to be the Queen of Hearts, and there's going to be Jeff Hooks, and there's a long list of people that will be participating and giving of their time for a good cause. So plan on coming to see that. You can get information about that by going to GoldsboroParamount.com and purchasing tickets there. It's all for a good cause.
It is all for a good cause, and I am excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a lot of fun. Hope to see you there.
Well, you know, if Chip Zwirling is in charge of it, we're going to have a good time.
We are going to have a good time. Well, coming up on March 7th now, this is important. If you work on a farm, if you're a farm owner, this is important. Planning for the future of your farm. It's entitled Farm Transition and Estate Planning Conference, planning for the future of your farm. This is March 7th, and it will take place at the Mount Olive College Southern Bank Auditorium. It's $10 per person, and here's what's happening. Farm Transition Planning, a comprehensive approach to keeping farms in production as they pass from one generation to the next. Transitional planning can help to alleviate the obstacles that successors will face while ensuring the continued financial health of the farm family and business. The conference will feature experts providing information and resources to jumpstart the planning process. Pre-registration for the event is requested. Get more information by going to Mount Olive College at www.mocagbiz. In other words, MOC Ag Biz, right?
Exactly.
mocagbiz.com farm transition. Now, the event open to the public. Tickets are $10 a person. You can call Edward Olive at 658-7510 for more information or to purchase tickets. Edward Olive, 658-7510. 658-7510. 658-7510 to get more information about this farm transition and estate planning. In other words, if you're a farm owner, you want to leave it to your kids, you need to go to this. You need to know more about it. Okay?
Well, Wayne, let's talk about this transportation forum that is coming up.
Let's do that.
There's a transportation forum that'll be taking place at Goldsboro Country Club on Thursday, February the 28th. They're coming together to talk about the future of Eastern North Carolina and, of course, Wayne County and Goldsboro. North Carolina Department of Transportation Secretary Tony Tata will be the keynote speaker. We actually don't have a time listed yet. They said to be announced. We'll give you more information a little bit closer to the date. Of course, it is the 28th. And this is sponsored through the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce. This is also sponsored with the Wayne County government, City of Goldsboro government, and North Carolina Department of Transportation. We'd like to see you there if you're interested in hearing about transportation in our future.
Here's today's trivia question for Wednesday, the 20th of the month of February.
Yes.
The category is national anthems.
Okay.
But not America's national anthem. Most countries, almost all countries, have at least a national anthem. All right. Well, some time ago, this particular country, it's a European country, with a national anthem, music and words and everything. Well, the leader of the country died. Okay. And when the leader of the country died, they stopped singing the words to this national anthem. They took the words out completely.
Why?
What country? I don't know. Well, he died. So they felt in his honor they would stop singing the words to the national anthem of that particular nation. What nation was it? It's a European country. It's well known by everyone.
Interesting.
The leader of this country passed away. He died.
Okay.
So
that should give us a hint.
Right.
He died.
He died. So that tells you it was not Great Britain.
Right.
All right. So it was, and it's a European country, and there's only 30-some. So which country, after their national leader passed away, did they stop singing the words to their national anthem, and now only they play the music?
Ponder.
Ponder.
And, you know, when is the one time we hear other countries' national anthems?
Oh, that would be at the Olympics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is one time that you know you're going to hear other countries' national anthems, and it's interesting to see the emotion that people feel whenever they hear their national anthem.
I know whenever I hear our national anthem or I sing our national anthem, you can't help but feel emotion.
Exactly.
You can't help it. I do.
And that is, you know, across generations, and that is across the entire world, that people seem to feel that same pride and joy and history whenever they hear the national anthem and participate in it.
That's exactly right. You're so right about that. And it's not adding anything to or taking anything away from any particular nation. You should be proud of your country.
Of course.
You should be proud of your country, your nation. Sure.
So we'll get that answer later, I guess.
You certainly will.
All right.
Ponder.
Ponder.
Yes.
All right, let's see. Oh, another save the date. This is not until April. April 12th and 13th is a big weekend here in Wayne County and Goldsboro. Pig in the Park.
Really?
Yes, Pig in the Park will be taking place at Old Waynesboro. It's a family-friendly event to highlight Wayne County's history and its barbecue tradition.
Oh boy.
They'll have lots of pig cooking contests.
Oh boy.
Food, of course.
Oh,
vendors, music, activities for children. Fun for the entire family, Wayne. All proceeds benefit the Boys and Girls Club of Wayne County. For more information, you can visit their website at piginthepark.com. Or you can call the Boys and Girls Club at 919-735-2358 if you want to be a vendor or if you'd like to participate in whatever format. You can call and talk to Joe Heidenreich at the Boys and Girls Club. But save that date, April 12th and 13th.
There you go.
You may even want to come and cook some pig and compete.
Hey, that's a great idea.
Yeah. They don't have to be professional restaurants. They can just be a group of family or friends that get together and
there you go.
think they have the best recipe.
That is exactly right.
What's going on?
Well, next week, I believe it's next, it's either Monday or Tuesday, I can't recall which, but anyway, the Next Step Fair.
Yes.
This is important now. This is for youth and children with special needs. The Next Step Fair helps to make transitioning smoother at any age by being a key source of information and connections to community resources and services for children and youth with special health care needs. Those children and youth with special health care needs are described as those who have or are at risk for chronic physical, developmental, behavioral, or emotional conditions, and who also require health and related services of a type or amount beyond that required by children and youth generally. Now, the date on this is February 26th. That's next week, starting at 10:30, and then going until 6:30. They'll break a couple of 3 hours for lunch. But 10:30 to 6:30 at the First Pentecostal Holiness Church on First Church Road in Goldsboro. That's at the intersection of
70 West.
70 West Bypass and Wayne Memorial Drive, right?
That's First Pentecostal Holiness Church?
First Pentecostal.
Yes, that is 70.
70 Bypass and
That's right.
Wayne Memorial Drive.
There you go.
And there you go. Okay.
Well, Wayne, you got more?
No.
Oh.
If you have any questions, call Dr. Heidi Austin, and her number is 731-1236.
Well, let's go see what Mr. Jimmie Edmundson has to say about the Military Affairs Committee here in Wayne County.
Today we're talking with Jimmie Edmundson of the Military Affairs Committee. Jimmie, thanks for being with us. I appreciate you being here.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Tell us, what is the Military Affairs Committee? How does it relate to Wayne County? What is that?
Well, our primary purpose is to make sure we foster a good working relationship between the base and the community.
Right.
Seymour Johnson brings in almost $550 million a year to this community. It's very important to us for a number of reasons, not just the economic impact, but from a national security impact. It is extremely important. And we have a lot of good people that come through Seymour Johnson, and they come 2 and 3 times, sometimes more during their career, so you get to see them more than once.
I think Colonel Levitt's been here a couple of times.
Yes, and you make friends with them, and they're lifelong friends, and they offer so much to this community by their service to the community. They're involved in our schools, our churches, our civic organizations, boys and girls clubs. Anytime we have a tragedy like a bad storm, they're there to help. And so our job is just to make sure that we foster that relationship and make sure we build on it.
You mentioned a couple of organizations and the disasters we have from time to time. And at the forefront, I always hear or see someone from Seymour Johnson Air Force Base helping with volunteer work at the soup kitchens, and collecting goods for disasters, helping out with when we have floods or tornadoes or anything. They're always there for us.
And they're first in line.
And they're first in. That's true. You're right. You're right about that.
Fourth or first.
For several reasons.
Yes.
Now, how long have you been with the Military Affairs Committee?
Since 1986.
And how many people are a part of this committee?
Well, we probably have about 110 or 115 members of the committee. And they're all members of the Chamber of Commerce, and then they pay additional dues to be a member of the Military Affairs Committee. So, people who are members of the Military Affairs Committee are dedicated to helping us do what we need to do.
Now, having been on, that means you've been on this committee almost 30 years now.
Yeah, you're telling my age. Yeah.
Well, you started when you were, like 10 years old, But on a serious note, every few years when the Pentagon decides they're going to realign or change bases or perhaps even close a base or two, that's especially when you guys really jump into action. The Military Affairs Committee, I know you burn up I-95 between here and the Pentagon. During those times, you are at the Pentagon quite often, quite a bit.
We are, and we also, when we were up there, we try to meet with our congressional delegation.
Right.
And we have friends in the military who are not from North Carolina, but they are members of Congress. They love the military, so it's not only our congressional delegation, it's anyone who's up there that'll sit down and talk to us and listen to what we got to say. And it's very important, because when it all gets down to it, it's going to be a political decision most of the time.
That's
so you got to
exactly
make sure you keep those people in the loop.
That's right. And as you mentioned, many of the people in Congress have been in the military, and many of them have more than likely been through Seymour Johnson at some point.
Well, they all know about Seymour Johnson,
do,
that's
yes.
for sure, because as I said earlier, it is extremely important to our national security, and so they're all well aware of the role that Seymour Johnson plays in that.
Anytime we have had issue internationally, Seymour Johnson has been at the forefront. Back in the 90s, the war in Iraq, they were first on the scene.
They were first on the scene.
They were right there.
Yeah, and it's been that way for a long, long time,
Yeah.
and I think it'll be that way for many, many more years.
And we are so proud of Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. Not only as being a part of the community, they go to church here, their children go to schools here, and they're so much a part of the community. But they are indeed, they're all heroes. They are at the front. Anytime America is in danger, or even the threat of any sort of activity against America, Seymour Johnson's always there.
They are.
We need to protect these people. We need to protect this base as much as we possibly can.
And we're going to make sure we do that.
All right. So, what do we work? Is there anything in particular we're working on right now, Jimmy? That
well, a couple of things that are kind of primary right now. One is the air show that's coming up. And
Right.
Ben Seegers and Rick Sumner are working really hard on that, especially Rick.
Well, those guys were at the commissioners' meeting recently,
Yeah.
and they spoke to commissioners about the air show.
Yeah, so that's going on, and I know that'll be a great event. Then the other thing that we're continue to be concerned about and continue to work on is the wind farm issue up around Adair Range.
I'm glad you brought that up.
And so we're still working that. We're making progress. We're not where we want to be, but we're making progress, and I feel like we're going to be successful with that. But that's probably, when you talk about BRAC and you talk about threats to Seymour, that is definitely a threat not only to Seymour, but it's a threat to all the military in North Carolina, really, because even Fort Bragg uses that range for training. The Marines certainly use it a lot at Cherry Point New River Air Station, and then the Navy out of Virginia uses the range as well. So it could have a real big negative impact on the military in general.
Well, just in case no one, or there is someone who does not know about that, a few months back, the announcement was made about the consideration of a wind farm off the coast there, and that would have a very direct effect on the Dare range. And that range is so important to us.
Well, that range cannot be duplicated on the East Coast. So you lose that, you've lost it on the East Coast altogether. But you're right, there was one in particular that has already received a preliminary permit from the Utility Commission, and that is the one that's of primary concern to us because it really impacts Seymour Johnson more than anyone else. And that particular wind farm, I think, has either 47 or 49 wind turbines that are 500 feet tall. And unfortunately, the company, Invenergy, went in and plotted those turbines in the middle of the primary low-level route that Seymour uses for training.
And for anyone who may not be, or who may not understand what that means that our planes could not go in to that location.
They fly at 500 feet through that low-level route going into the range, and these turbines are 500 feet.
So that would eliminate the use of that area by our planes. There's nowhere else on the East Coast they could use. That would practically eliminate the base.
Well, it would certainly be detrimental to the training, and this is the base that trains all F-15E pilots and WIZOs, period. There's not another one in the world.
So we don't want that wind farm.
We do, well, you know, I think the way we like to position ourselves with that, we're not opposed to alternative sources of energy.
Yeah, okay.
Unless it impacts the military in a negative way, and this certainly would. And of course, what has happened since this company went in and plotted this particular wind farm in this location, they've also plotted some others, and now other companies are coming in and doing the same thing. So instead of dealing with one now, there's probably 10 that are in the planning stages. And you might can mitigate one, but you can't mitigate 10. And so we're working really hard with our state legislature. There is legislation that is being worked on now, and hopefully it's going to be ready for us to review in a couple of weeks. And Senator Brown is working very diligently on that for us. And hopefully that will be ready to present to the legislature in the very near future. And if we can get that passed, then we think that will solve this problem. But we're not putting all of our eggs in one basket. We continue to put pressure on our congressional delegation to make sure DOD and everyone knows that again, we're not opposed to alternative sources of energy, but we are very opposed to anything interfering with our military. Okay,
let me just say this. We're not opposed to alternative energy, and what you said, we don't want it there, but we're not opposed to it necessarily. However, in fact, in recent days, I saw a news article that said the wind energy alternative, the popularity or the interest in that seems to have dropped somewhat, and more people are interested now in the solar.
It has. Wind energy is very, very expensive to produce.
It is.
And none of these companies that are looking at that area have anyone lined up to buy the energy from them. You know, several years ago, the North Carolina Senate passed Senate Bill 3, I believe. And that requires the power companies to buy a certain percentage, and I think it's 12% of their energy from renewable sources by the year 2022. But so far, no one has been able to figure out how to produce wind energy at a cost that the power companies can afford to buy it. And of course, there are tax credits out there, which, you know, is taxpayer money.
Well,
and you know, with enough tax credits, you might can get it at a price that would be reasonable, but so far there have been no takers. So we don't think it is a good alternative. We think that some of these companies have got their hand out and they're getting a lot of cash. This one particular company has probably received somewhere close to $300 million in stimulus money, and the others are lined up to get it as well. So, you know, there's money in it for them, but it's not a good thing for Eastern North Carolina if you put the military in a predicament where they can't train.
Well, we're not going to ask anyone to choose necessarily, but we will remind folks that you don't have to have a 300-foot or 500-foot tower for solar energy.
That's true.
Just a big area on the ground.
That's right.
But we don't want it out there either, not at the dare range. Anyway, Jimmie, we're out of time. I appreciate you coming by and talking with us. And you're going to be a regular on the program about once a month when you're available to come in and talk to us.
Sounds like a good deal.
It does sound like a good deal, and good luck to you. I appreciate all the information from the Military Affairs Committee, Mr. Jimmie Edmundson. Thank you.
And we're back. I hope you learned a little more about Military Affairs Committee here in our community and how much they do play a part in keeping that communication open with Seymour Johnson and continuing to build that that communication with them because it's very important.
It is important. Very important.
Well, Wayne, have you ever been interested in hiking?
Hiking?
Hiking.
When I was a young man, I used to hike everywhere.
Did you really?
Well, yeah. Well, I remember when I was 4, I hiked the Himalayas.
Yeah, right.
Well, maybe not. Yeah, I may have dreamed about it. But anyway, yeah, in fact, I used to enjoy walking a lot.
Really?
Yes, really enjoy walking. Not necessarily hiking per se.
Right, but just walking.
Just walking.
Well, Goldsboro Parks and Rec is doing something interesting, as they always do. They are offering a group of people to get together. They're organizing a hike at the Appalachian Trail.
Really?
Yes,
I used to want to, that's what I really wanted to
Really?
do. I wanted to go to Mount Oglethorpe and walk up to Maine.
Well, you got the opportunity here
No,
to,
I'm not going to do it now.
to actually hike the Appalachian Trail. If you're interested in being a part of that, they're going to hike, they're going to camp, all at the Appalachian Trail.
Wow.
You need to call Goldsboro Parks and Recreation. I don't have the date of when it's taking place, but Mark Wilson is the organizer at Goldsboro Parks and Rec, and he can fill you in on all the details because they're having meetings now to sort of talk about it and prepare and discuss the items that you'll need to camp and hike. So it sounds exciting. If that's something that sounds of interest to you, call Goldsboro Parks and Recreation and ask for Mark Wilson. Hiking the Appalachian Trail.
That is exciting.
Yeah, definitely. It's something new and different.
That's great. That is exciting. That is exciting. Let's see what all we do have here. Everyone is welcome to the new Sensory Story Time at the Wayne County Public Library. They have Sensory Story Time is for children with autism, with sensory processing disorders and Down syndromes or other special needs. Make yourself at home while you're listening to the stories and singing the songs and meeting new friends. Sensory Story Time is on the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of each month at the library. All right, you can call the library to get more details or just go. The 2nd and 4th Wednesday of each month. I think that's 731-1824? 735-1824.
You're right.
735-1824.
Well, Wayne, in just a little bit, at 9 o'clock this morning, they're having a blood drive at Wayne Community College. It starts at 9 o'clock. It'll be over at 1:30. Doesn't cost you a thing. Giving the gift of life. And let's see if it gives you any details exactly where it's going to take place. I know it's at Wayne Community College, but I don't see any details as to where at Wayne. But I'm sure if you go in the main office, they can guide you.
They'll have a sign set up out
Exactly.
front that says blood drive.
That's right. So if you want to give the gift of life, go to Wayne Community College this morning, 9 o'clock.
You ever ride a train?
I have ridden a train and very much enjoyed it.
Love the train. Well, if you are in the Wayne County area, you can actually get a discount by riding the train between now and the end of March if you ride on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. It seems the North Carolina Department of Transportation, that's DOT, and I used to think that stood for Don't Offer Truffles, but no, it stands for Department of Transportation. Anyway, they announced Amtrak train travelers to and from North Carolina destinations can save 15% off adult one-way fares on all Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday trips. It's a limited time promotion running now through March 27th. The discount is valid on several of Amtrak trains running in North Carolina. Also applies to the new Amtrak throughway bus service to eastern North Carolina, serving Greenville, New Bern, Havelock, Morehead City, Kinston, also Jacksonville, Wilmington, and our area as well. Of course. The throughway service connects with the Amtrak Palmetto train service in Wilson. Tickets are available for purchase now through March 26th. Reservations are required a minimum of 1 day in advance before traveling. The discounted fare is only valid on coach and cannot be used on accommodation upgrades. Tickets are non-refundable. Seating is limited. Blackout dates apply. You can go to bytrain.org, that's bytrain.org, or amtrak.com to get more information about that.
Have you ridden one before?
Yes.
Me too. I took the train out of Smithfield, Selma, and took the train to New York.
Ooh.
And what was so nice about it, Wayne, was that you can get up and move around. It's very different than, of course, flying, where you basically sit in your seat the entire time. You can get up, you can move around, you feel like you have your own space. There's food and beverages, available to you there. So it is a very unique way to travel.
And not nearly as much turbulence.
No.
I mean, think about it. I mean, really.
That's exactly right. If you haven't tried it, think about it.
And it's a lot of fun. Kids love it too.
Yeah, and there's short trips. You don't have to go somewhere as far as New York, but there's short trips available as well.
And frankly, inexpensive.
In some cases, it certainly is.
When you compare, it's actually, as equal or less than what it would cost you to drive.
Yeah, it's a great way to travel with kids too, because they can get up and move around.
That is so true. Well, do you ever want to take a trip out to a canyon somewhere? Huh? Well, what do you say there, buckaroos and buckarettes? What about this one? Tomorrow, a representative from Premier World Discovery Tour Company will be at the Senior Center on East Ash Street for a presentation on an upcoming senior trip to America's Canyon Lands, September 27th. In September now. Anyone interested in this trip, welcome to attend to get information and have your questions answered. If you want information now, call Aaron. Otherwise, just be there tomorrow at the Senior Center. I don't have a time on that, but call Aaron at 705-1785 to get more information about that.
Boy, she's doing a good job.
I am telling you.
And she is just offering so many different types of activities. Right. Everybody should be able to find something to do.
That's right. I'm not going to hold
And we've said it many times, between the coziness of the senior house at Goldsboro Parks and Rec over by Herman Park Center, and the multitude of activities that they have at the Senior Center over on Ash Street. Yeah. The seniors should have it made in our community.
Seniors do.
We're taking care of and looking after them.
You better believe it. Birthdays today include actor Sidney Poitier.
Oh, happy birthday.
Poitier is 85 today. He's so good.
Yes, he's very good.
The lovely and talented Cindy Crawford is 46 years today. Heiress and weird person Patty Hearst is 58 years today. And one of my favorites, basketball's very own Charles Barkley.
Oh, how old?
49.
49. Happy
Barkley,
birthday.
49. Clarence Nash died this day in 1985. Does that name mean anything to you?
Nope.
Clarence Nash is known to the entire world through his voice of Donald Duck. Clarence Nash died in 1985 of leukemia at the age of 80. He was indeed the voice of Donald Duck.
And Wayne just knows these things.
Yeah, and it's driving me nuts. I don't know why. But yeah, well, no, but that's interesting. Clarence Nash was a great voice talent.
That's right. That's right. Well, let's see who's up next. I believe we have Sherry Archibald. She's here to talk about all the exciting things happening at the Paramount Theater through the month of February and March.
Yeah.
Hi, good morning. Joining me today is Sherry Archibald, Director of the Paramount Theater, here to tell us all the exciting upcoming events. Hi, Sherry.
Good morning.
So this past weekend, or not long ago, we got to have the 5th anniversary celebration of the rebuilding of the Paramount Theater.
It was a lot of fun.
It absolutely was.
I'm glad you were there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm sure that viewers have been watching or will be seeing clips of it, but it was a wonderful celebration. And it was really nice to be able to get together with so many of our loyal groups that rent the theater so consistently, to be able to show the community just a little bit of their talent. And what was really exciting is to get into the lobby during intermission and hear folks say, "Oh my gosh, I've got to go see that show."
Exactly.
Because every piece of that was about an upcoming performance.
And that's one of the neat things that I saw, where people of all ages, from very young to very old, all enjoying something that happened in that show, because you had such a variety of different things that have come through the theater doors and will be coming through the theater doors in upcoming months.
Absolutely. It was a great performance, and I want to take this opportunity to thank those groups that were there. There were many of them: Stage Struck, Center Stage, Goldsboro Ballet, Dance for Christ, Miss Outstanding Teen, Miss Goldsboro was represented there, and also John Clifton, Haley Best. We had a great lineup, and
you certainly did.
I had some folks ask me, before they came, do you think my kids will enjoy this? And I had to say, whether you are interested in the arts or not, when you have a variety show like that, everybody loves it, because if this isn't their cup of tea, if they can hang tight for about 3 minutes, the next thing probably will be.
That's right. That was what was so fascinating about it, is that it was an hour and a half, hour and 45-minute show, and there was something in that show that you liked, had to be, because it was just such a variety show and so unique.
And some of the favorites were the MCs. Judge Tim Finan,
of course,
and Jeff Holtz.
They did a fabulous job.
They did. I heard a lot of people say that was some of their favorite
That
parts.
was entertaining. It was like a show all on its own.
It was. So I thank them
So
also.
good job, Tim and Jeff. Good job. But we expected that anyway.
Absolutely.
From them. Well, Sherry, tell me about some of the things that are coming up. So we may have seen a little snippet of some of these acts, but when are they and what's coming up?
Well, the next thing that's coming up, I'm very excited to be able to share with you, is Music Man, presented by Stage Struck. And Stage Struck, of course, is the young people's theater
That's
group.
right.
It's been around for 25 years, almost 25
That's
years.
right. It's a big celebration coming up
They
soon.
do, and so they do a phenomenal job. They typically have anywhere from 70 to 100 children to participate, from ages 5 to 18. And you know, if you have not been to see a Stage Struck performance, you really will be amazed
Yes, you will.
at the talent and the commitment
And
that
the organization.
these kids, and it is so organized. Parents are really committed to staying on top of this and doing what needs to be done. So it's a big group of people who are working very hard to put on a phenomenal performance. This year is Music Man.
That's
And
right.
so every spring they do have a wonderful spring performance that is
It's a big
usually a musical.
Right.
Last year was Susical, which
And it was great.
amazing.
It was
and
great.
they have great talent. They have great talent too, just in set stage.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
mean, the
Not just the
props.
children are
I mean,
talented, but the adults here in our
Yes.
community that volunteer their time.
Absolutely.
Because this is a 100% volunteer organization.
It is.
And these parents and these local community members that are committed to come and build the sets, paint the sets, create the sets, and that, you know, they just come up with it. And it is
Absolutely.
just so amazing of what all we have to offer right here in our community, and that's a part of Stage Struck.
And many of these kids, I mean, I'm speaking to the choir now, I know, but many of these children go on to do amazing things outside of our community.
That's right.
This is an opportunity for them to set the stage and to be part of the stage for expressing their talent.
That's right.
So it's just a great opportunity for kids to be able to see that, but for our community to come and watch too. They love
Right.
it. So Music Man is coming up. The first performance is February the 28th, and then they will be with us on March the 1st and March the 2nd also.
Okay.
And
all
so
right.
tickets are available at Stage Struck, and they are there Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
And is that stagestruck.org?
Yes.
Their website? Okay.
Yes, it is.
So you can talk to them about getting tickets by calling them or going to their website.
Exactly.
So
But
mark your calendars for the
mark
Music
your
Man.
calendars. And you did see a little piece of that, of course,
Yes,
in,
you did.
in the gala, and I'm sure that your viewers will see that too. Again, it just always
know.
leaves you a little breathless because you just don't know what to say when you see young talent that good. And I'll tell you, another thing that Stage Struck does is they take it a step up and they bring directors from outside of our community too, sometimes from Raleigh, sometimes from New York,
That's right.
choreographers. I mean, they have top-notch direction, so they do a great job.
Yes, they do. And you know, one of the things you were talking about earlier is this, it does set the stage for a lot of youth that want to go on and further their interest in the
Yes.
arts. But even if a child doesn't, think about the qualities that they learn just from being a part of this organization and by stepping foot on that stage and stepping out of their comfort zone sometimes.
Yes. I think it really inspires them to be able to speak publicly.
Exactly.
And they also just create this family unit. So just
And
like all of our
teamwork. Oh.
performing art groups, all of
That's
them,
right.
they just create this family atmosphere, and so
certainly do.
they connect outside of the performing arts too. They start getting together. They have dinners, and they just make a special connection. So it gives the kids an opportunity to figure out, where do I fit? If this is something I'm interested in, it may not be on the stage. It may
That's
be
right.
learning about the lights and the sound, or stage managing. There's just many, many opportunities.
One thing that I'll never forget that some youth told me years ago, and this was a group of kids that had been in Stage Struck since they were young, they said this was the one organization that laid it out where a child from Rosewood High School could be interacting with a child from Southern Wayne or Goldsboro High School or whatever the case may be, or homeschooled. The stage was open to any child in
Right.
school between the ages of 6 and 18 that
And
were
there's
still
a
in
sense
school.
of
Exactly.
acceptance, because when you're in sports, you know, you often are. This is your team.
Right.
You don't mingle around with
That's
the other
right.
teams. You
That's
know,
right.
I'm
So this is a
certainly-
team effort where all the different schools come together and they are a part of one thing.
Absolutely.
They can work together. So it's like a crossover. So it's just really neat to hear these youth talk about how exciting it was to have such good friends at all the schools now,
Right.
because and homeschool as well.
It does connect them to a broader area, to
It
the whole
certainly
county.
does. It does.
So we have that coming right up, and so that is February the 28th, March the 1st, and March the 2nd.
Great. So what's right after that? I know you got
And
something right behind
we
it.
do, actually, and it's really interesting because for several weeks, and we're booked every weekend until June. But for several weeks, it's one of them is out on Sunday, and as they strike, another one is coming in to set in. So it's very busy over the weekend. But the next event that we have coming up after that is with Cinderella, and that is with Goldsboro Ballet.
Oh, I bet that's going to be beautiful.
It will be. They do a wonderful job as well. Also another group that has been around for a long time. These groups, you know, we were talking about working on volunteer basis. The parents come together, they do the fundraising. Majority of these groups are nonprofit, and they may get some small grants through the Arts Council. Not all of them, but some of them get a little something.
Right.
But everything is really done through the parents and through the fundraising efforts that they have to do. So they work really hard to be able to put these performances on. And a lot of times it's ticket sales too that helps them to get through. So we do have Cinderella coming up, and it is March the 8th and 9th and 10th.
And we saw
March the 9th and the 10th. I'm sorry.
The 9th and the 10th. We saw a little snippet of that also at the gala, and it was beautiful. Oh, it was beautiful. And we saw a young man and a young woman, and they did, they had a dance number, and I'm telling you, it looked professional.
They do a wonderful job.
It really looked professional. I was so excited to see what they had to offer, and I'm looking forward to being a part of that.
And one thing to add about both of these groups is they also both provide performances for schools. So they work primarily through Wayne County, and sometimes Johnston County or Lenoir County, but they really work with Wayne County schools to bring kids in. So what a close field trip, inexpensive, but for these children to be able to experience the arts as part of their field trip. So they, of course, with Music Man, they'll have school shows as well.
Of course.
And Goldsboro Ballet also has school shows for Cinderella.
That's a great opportunity for whatever grade they decide will be
they
appropriate.
fill quickly too. I mean, I
sure.
usually send emails out to teachers, and they respond quickly. It fills up very fast.
I'm sure. Well, it's a close by, and it's exposing some children to the arts that may not get that opportunity.
Correct.
Without this opportunity being provided for them. So what's right after Goldsboro Ballet?
After Goldsboro Ballet, as they strike, we have another group setting in, and that is Artistic Dance with Dance for Christ. Dance for Christ was also at the gala.
Yes, they were.
And they were the talk of the town too during intermission, because they put on
what do you say about that?
Wonderful performance.
It's hard to explain.
I'll tell you how someone described it to me. She said it felt like Lion King was coming into the auditorium.
Because this one is called Creation, right? This particular dance that we saw.
That's right.
At the gala recently.
Yes.
Was it was amazing. And can we tell them a little bit?
Yes, I'm sure that Artistic Dance and Dance for Christ would not mind if we share a little snippet. But I will tell you that with this performance, this is only the second year that they've done this, because every year they have Dance for Christ, and they make some changes every year. But the basic premise is the same. I mean, it is a ministry for them, and they use the art of dance to express their ministry of Jesus Christ.
Right.
That's what they're doing. They have, in the past, traveled outside of the country to do this. And so now the Paramount is their home to do this, and because they have so many to come and see this, they do it over 2 weekends. So we will be having them for 2 weekends, and they have 4 shows a weekend, so it's booming for 2 weekends there. But with Creation, what you see is these animals that are coming into the auditorium that really just are breathtaking.
Yes, they are.
I don't know where she gets these costumes, but they're just awesome. So you do feel like it's Animal King coming to life as they're coming into the auditorium, and
as they're walking down the aisles beside you.
And so what you see is this story of the creation. And a lot of that, of course, is Patricia Warren's interpretation from what she reads in the Bible, and she is trying to bring that to life to the stage. But we have a lot of churches, church youth groups, and senior groups that come from all over. I often talk about what an economic engine our Paramount is, because even though this is a wonderful blessing to us here in this community, we're bringing people from all over to come and see performances.
Oh, yes.
And so I've been talking to a lot of different churches that are bringing their congregation to come and see the shows. But we sell tickets for them right at the Paramount Theater, so you can certainly purchase them online or right there at the office too.
Well, I'll say I saw it at the gala, that one little piece of it, and I was absolutely amazed. And I think anyone would be, whether you love dance or not. This is a beautiful story, and Patricia has come up with the most unique way of incorporating and telling this story, and it was breathtaking. It was absolutely, she continues to surprise you and amaze you throughout the whole story, and it's we saw like a 4 or 5 minute little piece of it, but you don't want to miss it. If you've never seen Dance for Christ, you don't want to miss this.
I think that's what you said to Kim is so true, that dance may not be your thing.
Right.
You know, we all really are interested in different things when it comes to the arts, but you can't help but to be mesmerized when you watch this
And you
performance.
don't understand it until you see it. You don't understand what we mean by you will be amazed, because you will.
It really is a wonderful performance. Very affordable too.
Yes.
Only $10 a ticket. So this is just a great event. But she will be there for 2 full weekends. So she is there from the 15th, 16th, and 17th, and then the 24th, 25th, and 26th.
So a Friday night, a Saturday.
Excuse me, the 24th is the last day. So it'll be the 24th, 23rd, and 22nd is the second weekend that she's there. It is Friday night. It's 2 performances on a Saturday.
Okay, so a matinee and then a Saturday night.
On Saturday, she has it at 1:30 and at 7.
Okay.
And the 1:30 is only, also there's a discount for military and seniors. It's only $8 a ticket.
Okay.
So it's very affordable. And then Sunday matinee at 3 o'clock.
Perfect.
2 weekends. And of course, all this information is on our website at GoldsboroParamount.com. We do offer the tickets for Dance for Christ, and we talked about Goldsboro Ballet. We sell tickets for them as well.
Right, and then Stage Struck, of course, you can go to their website to purchase tickets.
You can go to their website. You can go to their office too. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. They can help you out right there.
Great. So does that get us through the month of March?
We actually have one more event in March, and that is called Animals in Wonderland. Now, another performance that you saw at the gala was provided by Top Hat Ballroom.
Oh my goodness.
And I think it was quite a surprise.
It was a huge surprise. Thriller. They danced to Thriller.
Because when you see on the agenda what's coming up, Top Hat Ballroom,
you think
think it's going to be some ballroom dancing.
Yes, of course you do. Why wouldn't you?
It was not ballroom
It was
dancing.
not ballroom at all.
It was zombies coming to life on the stage.
Yes, it was.
And they did a wonderful job.
It was so
And
entertaining.
it was so surprising. I loved that our audience
They've
was
worked
so
hard on
surprised.
that.
So
that's local people around our community
Exactly.
giving of their time to volunteer for this organization. So tell us, what is this Animals in Wonderland that Top Hat Ballroom is hosting?
Well, first of all, they're doing this for a fundraiser. This is for the Humane Society. So, but you know what exactly they're doing is going to be a complete surprise. I think very much like you were surprised with Thriller. But when you're talking
I'm
about
in it and I don't
Chip,
even know what all I'm doing.
See, that's a surprise to you. See, when you're talking about chip swirling,
You just don't ever know.
do
You
not
got
know
a
what's gonna
creative
happen.
mind going there.
well, and which is why we
Well, we like
had
it.
Thriller to the
want to
stage
be a part
too.
of it. That's right.
And I was really excited. My little piece on Thriller was basically just a scream.
And be surprised at the zombies walking
yes,
up the steps
had to
towards
practice
her.
several times, but it was so much fun to be part of. He really has a good time, and it's so obvious too. I went to their rehearsal prior to the event, and they have such a good time preparing, and so that's so important as well, that they really are having a good time. This is for, again, it's for the Humane Society, but that event's coming up, and they're actually having 2 performances that day on the 30th. So they are really hoping to do some fundraising for our community.
That's right. So all the tickets that are sold,
We will be selling those at the theater as well.
Great. And all the proceeds that come from Animals in Wonderland will go to benefit the Humane Society.
And I will tell you this, you know, we talked about the personality and the imagination of Chip Swirling. This Animals in Wonderland is from his own interpretation of Alice in Wonderland.
Yes, it is.
So,
And I'm the
you're
Queen
gonna
of Hearts,
have a
and
good
I have
time.
no idea what I'm doing. I have not been told. So
probably best to keep
it's
it
probably
under wraps
best to
as
not
we get
even
a little
ask.
closer.
That's right. That's right.
That should be fun. Well, he will have a great time, and I have no doubt the audience is going to have a good time.
You don't have a choice.
There's lots of other community leaders, too, that are part of this. I know Jeff Hulse is involved.
Oh, yes.
So, do we have Wayne Alley involved in this performance?
I don't know. I don't think so this time, but I'm sure
He'll be
if
lured
Chip
in
has
now.
his way, he'll pull him right in.
So, we're really excited about that, and I'm so glad that they're going to be having that at the Paramount Theater.
Yeah, that'll be great. Well, you have a very busy month of
We
March,
do.
as you do throughout the rest of
We
this
do.
year.
February and March. Well, February we are booked every single day.
Yeah.
March we have one day that we are not booked, but we are booked every day with that exception.
That's fabulous, though.
It is. It's wonderful. So we are staying very busy.
Well, I can say from a person who goes to the Paramount a lot, I felt very special. I felt very appreciated, and I appreciated to be able to be a part of the gala and what David Will and this community and the city and the list goes on, and the foundation have done to support the Paramount Theater and our community for continuing to come to these events that are held at the Paramount Theater and understand, if you haven't been, because I've heard a gentleman recently say he had not been in the Paramount, and he came to the gala, and his opinion of how important this particular venue is in our community has been changed forever, just by attending the gala the other night and seeing how so many people in our community can come together at one event or multiple events and enjoy the same location, the same place, being the Paramount Theater.
You know, I heard that comment as well, and obviously I was happy to hear that, being part of the theater. But I have to say, too, that I respect and appreciate any individual who can say, this isn't something I thought was a good idea, but I'm going to come now and I'm going to see. And even if you don't agree or feel that way, and I think that you will, obviously, once you come in, but that you are ready to, I mean, because there are so many situations in our community that we're working on making changes to, but sometimes it's hard to make that jump because it's never a cheap thing to do, and so it is hard to jump on board with those things. But I really appreciate that our community is willing to step back and say, okay, well, I'm going to give this a try, and you know, I'm going to change my mind about it. And so that's what I think is happening to a big part of our community, and I hope continues to do so.
Exactly. And Sherry, you're open to ideas. If people in the community have things they would like to see at the Paramount that maybe have not been brought to our community, because you're working now on next year's series.
Exactly. I am. Our series that is coming up, which is going to start usually in September or October, goes through May. I'm always looking for some suggestions and what kind of events that you're wanting to see, what kind of performers that you want to see. So if you will give us a call at 919-583-8432 and let me know what you're interested in, or go onto our website at goldsboroparamount.com and send me an email. I'd love to hear from you.
That's right. Today, I hope you've learned more about what's happening at the theater the month of March. Thank you, Sherry, for being with us as you come every month and keep us informed on what's happening right here in your community. We're back.
We are back.
Well, Wayne, do you have an answer to our trivia question? Because we certainly are interested, and we're just awaiting to find the answer.
The question was, at one point, in recent years, in fact, when a European country's leader died, the countries took the words out of their national anthem. They stopped singing the words. They just sing the song and not the words. And
you mean they would play the song and basically stand at attention? And
stand at attention, not singing any words at all. And that was, I guess,
in respect or honor of him?
Out of respect to honor the leader who had passed away. Well, the leader's name was Franco, and the country was Spain. The most recent lyrics for La Marcha Real, the Royal March, written for General Francisco Franco. They were written for him, and they were abandoned following his death and the restoration of the monarchy in 1975. No official lyrics have replaced them, so they don't sing the lyrics to that.
They still don't have lyrics.
They still don't have lyrics. Don't want lyrics, in fact, out of respect for Franco. And Franco was a dictator. He ran that country. He was a dictator, and they respected him.
Paying his respects. Their respects for him.
Indeed.
Well, Wayne, we want to remind everybody tomorrow is Business After Hours, 5:30 p.m. This is sponsored by the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce. It's taking place at RE/MAX at, let me find that again, 2711 Cashwell Drive.
That's right.
If you would like to find a way to make new business contacts, meet new friends, that's a way to do it. There are a lot of local businesses right here in our community that take part of this. Tomorrow afternoon, 5:30.
Also tomorrow, a book discussion, the Brown Bag Book Club meeting at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in the library on base. And they'll be meeting tomorrow to talk about the Wayne County Reads book selection. And that's tomorrow at 6 p.m. at the Brown Bag Book Club meeting at the library on base.
That's right. I want to remind you about the 2013 SHAD Festival or SHAD Tournament that will be taking place on March 16th. 7 o'clock in the morning. This is sponsored or a collaboration between Goldsboro Parks and Recreation and Easy Bait and Tackle. If you want to try to be the angler that gets the biggest fish, it's $10. You can give them a call out at Goldsboro Parks and Recreation and get registered for that. That's a big deal in our community.
And you know, we do this every morning at 7 o'clock.
Do we?
We do, Monday through Friday. And of course, you can join us right here every morning at 7 a.m. on WGTV, Wayne Goldsboro Television Today. We do this every morning, Monday through Friday. We also repeat the program at noon, and then again at 5:30, and then again during the evening hours. So join us daily, Monday through Friday, here on WGTV Today, or on our YouTube channel. Go to waynegov.com, click on the YouTube link.
Or go to goldsboronc.gov and click on the WGTV link or YouTube. We're doing this because we're hoping to keep you informed about what's happening right here locally. If you have information you would like for us to share of an event coming up, email it to
WGTV@waynegov.com.
We'll be glad to share it with the community. That's what this show is all about, keeping you informed.
So until tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best, and this is what's happening in your community.